Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you all had a wonderful Merry Christmas. You got all that you wanted, or if not, you're about to return it to like today or tomorrow. But hopefully you had a Merry Christmas. I want to give a shout out to Film Gob Shaker. He actually made a great Christmas special video with a lot of YouTube friends I know, people I haven't seen before, but it's awesome that they're on this, and now I'm gonna follow them. It's so cool to see a whole bunch of people get together for this little video that Film Gob had made. Merry Christmas to you, Shaker. Thank you so much for including me in your video. Merry Christmas to everybody else, and I hope you all have a wonderful, happy New Year. But let's get into some DCEU updates. Now, this has gone up a few days ago. This is in regards to Wonder Woman 1984. It has been wrapped on December 23rd of 2018, just 2 days or 3 days ago, depending on when you watch this. Wonder Woman 1984 has been wrapped. Showed a bunch of pictures, great pictures of Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot. Things on set, and even probably what I assume is the wrapped picture where she's shouting out, "It's a wrap! It's all done!" We're not going to be able to watch this until 2020. As you know, it has been delayed the release to its initial release, which was in 2020 rather than November of 2019. It's not that far, little further along, but it is quite interesting on what's happening with that. But before we get into our thoughts about tinfoil thoughts about how why did that transpire, let's just get into a little bit more from DCEU. Now, this is an article from Scott Mendelson of Forbes. He hasn't been the greatest guy in telling a lot with articles and things like that, but this one was quite interesting, where he said, thanks to Aquaman, future DC films flicks will likely maintain the current continuity rather than serving as soft reboots. So most of this article, he kind of dishes on Zack Snyder films a little bit, but the clear fine print here is that because Aquaman's a success, and it is right now, it has reached over $500 million worldwide, in it being released only a few weeks. So it looks very likely they'll get to the $1 billion club. But in any case, it's already reaching like 100 something, lower than overall Justice League's overall Justice League numbers. So that is fantastic for Aquaman, and that's why he probably made this article in really saying that because it's making good, it's making money, it's actually kind of revitalizing it after Justice League, that the studio, in terms of numbers, in terms of how it looks like they're not going to do a soft reboot, if they were ever. But he speculates that they're not going to do a soft reboot. So I guess in his eyes, in the eyes of these bloggers or things like that who look at the numbers, look at how the entertainment business, the word of mouth and stuff, they can see from their eyes that it's not going to have a soft reboot, if they have ever thought that it was going to happen. And so that is great news for us who either you felt there was going to be a soft reboot or not. It's good news that these other people who believe that it should have rebooted are thinking that the studio won't do it because of the success of Aquaman, because of the word of mouth, because of the positivity that's flowing with DC films. Now we're not going to do a soft reboot, and that means it's continuing on the continuity that Zack Snyder had started in Man of Steel. And he even reiterates that it's the same Aquaman, it's the same Wonder Woman. We have references of Man of Steel and and Batman v Superman. In Shazam itself, we reference Justice League in Aquaman, and in fact, we even reference Man of Steel in Aquaman. I totally forgot to add that in, but someone who watched the film and told us about it said that the oil rig, a little bit of that oil rig explosion from Man of Steel is in Aquaman, and especially in the part that Orm was talking about how humans are polluting the ocean and stuff like that. So that's cool. That's cool. They're not writing that off. They're continuing on from what has happened before. Maybe not everything. I don't know if the world engine was even talked about. I don't think so in Aquaman, but the oil rig reference is a good thing. So I like that they're continuing on with that, and they're not making any soft reboots, which is on contrary to what Grace Randolph has said about Wonder Woman 1984, when her sources have told her that, and maybe they're giving her the runaround, or they're using Wonder Woman 1984, they're pushing the date all the way to next year so that they have time to reshoot or do things in 2020 before the movie comes out, either to be a flashpoint, as Grace Randolph have said or referred to, or in just continue on from there, depending on the success or non-success of Aquaman Shazam. So that could be something maybe they were talking about it, and that's why Grace Randolph had picked up on that. So that's one thing. Or it could be the other way. There's just too many DC films every year, and so maybe we should spread it out. We're going to have Shazam. We're going to have Joker. Even though Joker, they say it's not part of the DCEU continuity, but we're going to have that in the same year, so why not push Wonder Woman a little further out? Of course, in tinfoil area, we're all thinking about Snyder Cut. Is that really going to happen? November, a Snyder Cut release? Who knows? A Snyder Cut announcement at the next San Diego Comic-Con? Who knows? But in terms of logic and thinking about the different reasons why Wonder Woman 1984, even Gal Gadot herself says the changing of the landscape. What does that mean? What could possibly does that mean for the DCEU? Let's get into that a little bit after this next one. On Batman News, it's actually not batmannews.com, but at Bat Solo News, he had tweeted out that there's a confirmation of Ben Affleck reprising his role as Batman. Now, what he's getting at is because of Ella Jay Basco, who we know is in the movie. Okay, she's Cassandra Cain in Birds of Prey. And she tweeted out that she's excited because it's only 3 weeks until Birds of Prey is scheduled to begin production in Los Angeles, and which is very exciting in itself because we'll get to see the characters, we'll get to see the costumes, we'll get to see things on the set, and hopefully we get to see, actual nicely Clay Enos type photography of the costumes, of them suits before we actually see it on set. The reverse of what happened to Shazam or Captain Marvel, the Marvel Captain Marvel. We like to see an official photo of it before you leak out all, it's just better in word of mouth. But anyway, so 3 weeks until Birds of Prey is scheduled to begin production in Los Angeles. Ella Jay Basco says, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Horse, our own very own Horse at Boomborx and whole Snyder Cut fan replied, can't wait to see you and Ben Affleck together, in which case she liked it. She liked that comment, which is interesting because we haven't really had an official word on Ben Affleck. Is he gonna still be playing Batman? Is this wishful thinking on Ella Jay Basco's behalf? She did tweet or Instagram before about Ben Affleck, ready to meet Ben Affleck. She followed him. Now, Now, what can we assume from this? Now, somebody has said that she's just a kid. What does she know? She is like the main character, like one of the main leads in this movie, and they also had a table read. So we can maybe safely assume that maybe in the table read there is like a mention of Batman. That's one possibility. And so in her mind, well, Batman, this is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, then Ben Affleck would be this universe's Batman. So if it's mentioned in the table read, maybe she assumes it. Or maybe she really knows that Ben Affleck is coming back. Maybe other people have told her that, oh, hopefully Ben Affleck comes back. Or is she wishful thinking that Ben Affleck's coming back? Or even better yet, no one has ever said Ben Affleck is totally gone. Okay, bloggers have said that. Some people have assumed that, and it just got crazy. But I don't think Warner Brothers had ever come out and said Ben Affleck is gone. And so it's still up in the air whether Ben Affleck is gone or not. But it's very interesting to see Ella Jay Basco seemingly thinking maybe, possibly, that Ben Affleck is in this movie, or Ben Affleck is still Batman, or is wishfully thinking. But the best part is that if, in fact, she does know that Batman's in the film, that is exciting in itself. Batman in Birds of Prey. Now, we all know Birds of Prey is supposed to be like, this is the disappeared, no Batman's around, and that's why there's Birds of Prey to help fight crime and things like that. So could be possible Batman shows up later, or we talk a little bit about Batman leaving, why did he leave, and so on and so forth. Now, getting back to Batman a little bit. Now, we know all about the Snyder Cut and the original Snyder Cut, that's possible that Ben Affleck's Batman was supposed to die in the original 5-part arc of Justice League. Now, we know that that's not true anymore, because in the Snyder Cut or in the Justice League theatrical, you do see Ben Affleck with a mustache-less Henry Cavill at the what do you call? Oh my God! In Smallville, at Kent Farm. There you go. That they're both talking about how he bought the bank that bought the house and things like that. So we know that ending actually happened. That ending does occur in the movie, does occur in the Snyder Cut, probably the most compromised version before the weed and things showed up, and so that will be the case. So that's why Batman was probably missing, not because he died, but possibly because Birds of Prey takes place at the same time as Justice League, where Ben Affleck's Batman is still going around fighting parademons and Steppenwolf and all together. So Snyder Cuts to it still fit into that territory. Just a little bit there that I wanted to talk to you about that. Now, John Aaron Garza, he put out another periodic table. I encourage you to check that out. A little bit more about the tunnel fight in the Snyder, what possibly the Snyder Cut. Things were missing, things that he not sure if it's gonna totally supposed to be there or not. So check that out. It just makes you scratch your head a little bit more on how different Snyder Cut is compared to the theatrical version. So make sure you check that out. But at least we got someone on the inside a little bit, maybe some intern, again, HBO Asia, going out of their way, going on Instagram to tease Justice League, teasing that Superman scene when Lois Lane says, what was it like coming back? And he replies in the Joss Whedon's version of Justice League, itchy, and it has that ridiculous looking smile on his face, and he says, HBO Asia says, how to ruin a moment with the shades. We know what they're referring to. That intern is a godsend. I promise you not. It's incredible what this intern or an admin or whoever is running that HBO Asia Twitter and Instagram account, whoever comes in once in a while and gives us a little bit of hope, throws a little bit of shade towards Justice League. Do they know something? I don't know. Do they? I want to know if they know. I hope they know something, or they're just really trolling us, or they know exactly what riles us up. And seeing that is good, actually, because if there's a lot of interaction from Snyder Cut fans saying, "Yay!" they're like that, and the reason why they keep trolling us because they know that is a high click rate interaction when they get into the Snyder Cut things. That could mean that they're generating clicks. And when HBO or Warner Brothers, who are all in part of that Warner Brother, AT&T, Warner Media entity group, start seeing a lot of click rate and saying, what are they really actively click rate on? Is it a SpongeBob? Or is it a Justice League? And what part of Justice League? The Snyder Cut Justice League? Whoa, I guess there is a lot of interest in that, don't you think? I think it will. So that's a great thing that they are doing that, and we're responding to that, very much responding to that, and seems like it'd be a high click rate. Hopefully, like I said, means something, or if not, at least it's showing that there was a lot of people out there very interested in this Snyder Cut, as Jason Momoa himself has openly said that he really wants to see it, and we do too. Now, there's not too much news of late. Now people are wondering, why is it so quiet? And if anything is happening, I believe that Zack Snyder really wants to give Jason Momoa, James Wan, Amber Heard, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen their light and shining, their moment. He wants them to give them their moment with Aquaman. Doesn't want to be in part of, to want to step on that, which is a great and good thing for him. He's a great man that you will think that way. So I believe we're not going to hear about anything for a while, maybe. But who knows what happens with that. But where is Zack Snyder? Well, we know he's having Christmas. He's been posting some pics on Vero. But Golden Apple Comics actually posted this on Twitter today. He had a surprise Christmas Eve visit at Golden Apple Comics from director, writer, producer, and comic enthusiast Zack Snyder. Merry Christmas. He drew Rorschach on their R2-D2. Now, for people who are very much in tune of the images and really looking around, actually knows that he is in the comic book store. His back is turned to Superman, DC. On the left of him is Marvel. On the right is Superman and all the DC heroes, but mostly the Superman area. As John Aaron actually looked as well. Look, it's in the Superman section. How convenient. But what does that mean? Is he just going to get a comic book? Is he getting comics for research? Now, this is the one interesting thing that I really want to look at. If he's really getting comics for research, what comics is he researching? Is he getting Superman comics? And why is he getting Superman comics? Now, if he's looking at Superman comics, let's just for a little moment, just bear with me. If he's looking at Superman comics, DC comics, what does that mean? A lot of people are like, Man of Steel 2? Is he researching Man of Steel 2? Now, he could be researching for other things. There's a big comic book store. They just happen to take a picture of him right there in that aisle. It's no big deal, right? But we're having fun here, and I think I love to have fun right now. And if he's really doing something in a DC universe, maybe he's totally not out of it. That could explain why he thinks Jim Lee's the best. That Jim Lee may have approached him and says, hey, one, help me do a comic book run. Or two, let's make another movie. Now, you're thinking Jim Lee is just a comic book era, right? Well, look what happened when Jeff Johns was involved. Same position, okay? Same position. If Jeff Johns was heavily influencing the DC comics, DC movies, we could, and John Berg was utilizing Jeff Johns to be his right-hand man and telling him how she approach each movie and things like that. We can maybe assume Walter Hamada has reached out to Jim Lee and told him, and like Variety or Hollywood Reporter has said, Jim Lee is serving as what Jeff Johns has done, and in a way, they're kind of the advisement crew, right? The advisement person on what to do in the new movies. So if Jim Lee is buddying up with Zack Snyder, as Zack Snyder seems to have all of a sudden said he's the best, what does that mean? mean? Is Zack Snyder being offered a movie? Is Zack Snyder being offered a movie in the DCEU or even the Black Label DC films? Now, I know Black Label describes DC Comics, but we don't know what to call whatever the Joker movie is and whatever that universe is. So we're just going to call it like an Elseworlds kind of Black Label. So there's a possibility of that as well, which is exciting. Although I do want the Snyder Cut more than anything, but what if Zack Snyder makes another movie in DCEU? Could be Man of Steel 2, or it could be something else entirely. But anyway, I'm very glad to see that if that's possible, if that's the case, that Zack Snyder is going to do another DC movie, I am all for it. I want him to do another comic book movie. But in any case, it's interesting and exciting as well. Not sure what it means. Tinfoil hat on. Hopefully we'll get more news in the upcoming days or next year. January 2019 is coming very soon. Hoping for a lot more news, and there will be. I definitely think there will be. At least in 3 weeks, we get to see Birds of Prey sets and hopefully more comics. It's a very exciting time for DC Extended Universe, DC films. It's a very exciting time for kaijus and monsters. What a great year it has been. And there will be more and more to come. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a happy new year.